Hi everyone, welcome to All Ears English on YouTube. I am Michelle Kaplan from All Ears English, and on this episode, I am going to talk to Lindsay about storytelling. So on this episode, we really get into how to get someone super interested in your story. So when you start telling the story, you want to get people interested, right? So how can you use it? We will talk about strategies and we will give you different vocabulary, including adjectives that you can use to get somebody interested in what you are about to say. Guys, we know that you want to be a great storyteller, right? It is really important for connection. You want people to listen. So if you want to learn how to do this, if you want to be a great storyteller, listen to this episode. Remember, to get your fluency score, head on over to allearsenglish.com/fluency score. There you will take a super short quiz, you will get your level, and you'll have the opportunity to get free resources for your level. allearsenglish.com/fluency score. All right, enjoy the episode.
This is an All Ears English podcast, episode 463, How to Hook People with Your Riveting Stories in English. Welcome to the All Ears English podcast, downloaded more than 16 million times. We believe in connection, not perfection, with your American hosts, Lindsay McMahon, the English adventurer, and Michelle Kaplan, the New York radio girl, coming to you from Boston and New York City, USA.
Do your stories fall flat? Do you even have any idea how to start your story in English? Find out how to do it today and get one tip for learning English through stories.
It's time to stop feeling shy and awkward when you speak English. You can start by using our podcast, and the next step is to find a native tutor to practice what you learn on this show. To find that tutor now, go to allearsenglish.com/ITALKI. See you there. Happy Tuesday, Michelle. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you, Lindsay. To you too.
Great. You've got a new microphone there, so that's exciting. How you feeling with your new microphone?
It's so squeaky clean and exciting.
Squeaky clean and brand new.
Yes,
very nice.
Yes. I like it.
Yeah, very cool. So, Michelle, what are we talking about today? Because it's not enough just to have a good microphone. We actually have to hook people, right? Just like we hook a fish when we go fishing. If we're going to tell a story, do you like to tell stories?
Yes, I love to tell stories. I think probably a lot of what we speak about, a lot of our conversations in daily life is just telling stories.
Telling stories is really fun. I think it taps into kind of our primitive brain where we all, as cavemen and cavewomen, we used to sit around the fire and tell stories, right? The men would go out and hunt and then they would come back and tell stories. I feel like it taps into something very primitive regarding human connection.
Yes, that's what I was thinking also, that connection, it's so key with telling stories because usually when you tell a story, somebody wants to share their story, right? So oh, that same thing happened to me or something like that, So I think that this is an excellent way to connect. So storytelling, super important for connection.
Exactly, Michelle. And I think it's about the human element of storytelling because we want to be able to relate to other people, right? We don't want to know facts and figures and numbers and just ideas and concepts. Mm-hmm. We want to know about human experiences so that we can feel what that person was feeling, right?
Right.
And that's why we actually made this skill part of the charisma equation, which is coming out very soon in early February. That's very exciting. Lots of people have already purchased this course. They've pre-ordered it. Lots of people are already on the invitation list. So guys, in the charisma equation, our new course, we're going to teach you more vocabulary to start and end a story that we're not going to tell you about today. So to get on that invitation list, the priority invitation to get the best possible price, you want to go to allearsenglish.com/CHARISMA. But Michelle, for today, let's just go into 2 key strategies that we can use when we start a story.
All right.
Okay. So what's the first one, Michelle? What's one good tactic that we want to employ when we're going to start to tell a story?
Okay, so one good thing you could do is start with the person's name, right? We've talked about, how people like hearing their name. Using someone's name is definitely a great way to connect. So, and if it's a group of people, you can start with guys, right?
Yeah, like, hey guys, right? I do that all the time on this show when I want to address our listeners, right?
Yeah. Do you think, and that brings up kind of an interesting quick point. Do you think that, when it's a group of women, it's okay to still say, hey guys?
It's a good question, right? I feel like I've talked about this so many times, not on this show, but in other places, right? People have asked me this, and it's a good question. I think in a casual space, yes, it's okay. In a more formal space, like the workplace, probably not. But what else would you say, though? Because you wouldn't say, hey, women. That would be weird.
Right. Well, you could say, hey, everyone, or...
Hey, everyone, right? If you want to keep it general, gender neutral, hey, everyone, right? But there's something very casual and kind of not intimate, but friendly about, hey, guys, right? Hey, guys, I think. What do you think? I mean, it's okay if you
definitely.
disagree.
Well, I think I say, hey, guys, to my students a lot, actually.
Yeah,
I think as a teacher, I'm always like, okay, guys, we gotta, I think I say it a lot. So it's pretty good.
And it's funny because in the US, sometimes the relationship between a teacher and students could be more casual. I mean, maybe in other countries it'd be more formal, and the person would never say the equivalent of that in that language. So there's all kinds of things coming into play here, guys. But the point is, when we start by using the person's name or by a more casual way of opening the story, it makes people feel like they're included in that story. Okay? I like that.
Exactly.
I like that. If you have an interview coming up in English in 2016 or a business meeting or a business presentation, you can find someone to help you prepare for that immediately online. Stop wasting your time driving to English schools, guys. You can do it all at italki. Go to allearsenglish.com/ITALKI to find your native tutor in seconds. And when you use that link, you can get $10 off your second lesson. allearsenglish.com/ITALKI. So what's the second thing that we could do?
Okay. So, the second thing that you could do is, tell them that you have a story to tell, and then see if, they're interested in actually hearing it. Right, Lindsay?
Yeah, because it's not just about whether they ask you to continue. It's also about, do their ears kind of perk up? Do they turn their head towards you? Are they ready to hear it, right? It's a sign of social intelligence when you wait. You don't want to just plow through someone, right? If they're not interested in hearing it, then don't tell the story. You want to know, do they want to hear your story?
Right, exactly. So it's kind of this is a good tip, so that you are able to connect with people well. Because if you just keep on telling stories and the person is like, oh, not another one, right?
Well, I've been around people like that. People actually do that. I mean, this seems like common sense, but it's not to everyone.
Right.
People do this and they bore me to death, right? They don't get some people don't have that social skill. They don't get the social cues that someone does not want to hear your story. And so they just tell the story and they go on and on and on. And guys, it's a quick way to lose friends.
Right.
Lose connections. Yeah. Okay. So what would this look like then? The other thing we want to do is when we actually say that we have an interesting story to tell, we want to introduce some kind of adjective to describe the story.
Right, definitely. So for example, is there something you can think of, Lindsay?
Yeah, for example, here it is. So Michelle, the scariest thing happened to me when I was hiking in the White Mountains this week.
Ooh.
Do you want me to tell the story?
I am very interested.
Okay, so this is what happened. I'll tell the story since you asked. Basically, I went hiking with some friends in New Hampshire on Monday, and I got those spikes that you put on the bottom of your hiking boots. And they were working really well, and I was like, cool, I'm so powerful, I can go just walk up a sheet of ice, and it's no problem. And then I hit another sheet of ice where I could have walked in the woods, a safe space, but instead I said, no, these spikes work. I'm just going to go right up this sheet of ice.
Oh.
And so I started walking up it. and I went diagonally. My spikes didn't catch, and I lost my footing, and I slid like 200 feet down the mountain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I hit a tree. And luckily everything was okay. I got a little bruise, but luckily I'm fine. But it was definitely scary. I could feel the adrenaline pumping through my body.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it was scary.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're okay. 200 feet.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah. So, crazy stuff.
Wow.
It was, yeah.
It's lucky you just got a little bruise.
I know. Totally crazy. But so for that one, the adjective that I decided to use was the scariest thing happened when I was hiking. But Michelle, what would be some other adjectives that we might use if we want to describe a story?
Right. Well, you could say I could say, Lindsay, the funniest thing happened to me last week or something like that. Or I could say craziest, weirdest, strangest, right?
Yep. Most bizarre. Right?
Yeah, most bizarre. I think I think people like that word, bizarre. It's
bizarre. It's common in French, right? That word. I'm not going to try to speak French, but it's used in the French language a lot. And then the most hilarious thing happened, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So these are all good adjectives that you can use, when you're starting your story. It kind of preps people. Like, what kind of a story is this? You know, if you say,
That's right. Which of these do you use the most, Michelle, in your stories when you tell stories?
Oh, probably.
What kinds of stories do you have?
Probably weirdest and funniest, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe craziest also.
Craziest, yeah. And Michelle, do you know about the moth?
I've heard about it. I don't know too much about it, but what is it?
Well, because I want to move in. So we've given our listeners kind of the tips on how to tell the story. We want to start with the name, right? And then we want to start with an adjective, right? The craziest, the funniest, the scariest thing happened to me. We want to wait and see if they want to hear, and then we go into the story. But that's just the technical stuff. Now for our listeners, guys, I want to remind you that learning through stories is such a cool way to learn English, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Why do you think it's so helpful, Michelle, for our listeners to learn through stories?
Well, I think it can be helpful for a variety of reasons. It helps you connect. It helps you learn vocabulary. It also helps with grammar. I mean, it just helps in so many different ways.
Exactly. And it hooks you in. The key is we want to forget that we're actually learning English. And if we're hooked into a story, the storyline, the plot, what's going on with the main character, like we identify with them, we're going to forget that we're learning English. It's going to be super cool.
Exactly. And forgetting that you're like learning can actually make your stress level go down.
Totally. And that's when the mind opens and we start to learn. Look at that. Beautiful, right? So,
there you go. Yeah. So if you're stressed about learning or a little bit nervous about it, but you actually get excited about a story that somebody's telling, it can completely change your feelings about learning.
Exactly. So we want you guys to try this. You know, I mean, for years and years, you've sat in classrooms and you've tried to absorb English, and maybe it's worked a little bit, but maybe it really hasn't worked once you're at this upper intermediate level, because there may have always been an emotional barrier for you. There are lots of bad memories of mean teachers teaching you bad English and just not such great experiences. We want you guys to change the way you associate this idea of learning English, right? So learning through our podcast is a good first step. Another step could be to get some great stories. And I want to recommend The Moth, because The Moth is a series of stories. You can get it on NPR, I believe. If you go to NPR, type into Google The Moth. It's where they've just brought up these people with interesting stories, and they're telling the stories on stage live in like coffee houses in New York. And they record them and put them on the radio. You can also get them in book format. So I have the book here. I've been working through a few of the stories here, and it's great. I mean, have you ever attended a Moth event, Michelle?
I actually tried to attend one time, but the line was too long.
Yeah,
so
it's gotten popular.
Yeah, I think it's very, very popular. So I should try again.
Yeah, so a really good way, guys. Check out The Moth, great storytelling project, or go ahead and buy the book and just kind of immerse yourself in someone's story. Because again, there's that human element that I love so much.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Okay,
that's awesome.
I gotta listen to The Moth.
Yeah, you gotta listen, Michelle. You gotta.
Gotta. Yep.
Gotta. All right, Michelle, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out today.
All right, Lindsay, have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to All Ears English. And if you need a 7 or higher on your IELTS exam to achieve your life vision, then our Insider Method can get you there. Start with our free video series masterclass. Get video 1 now at allearsenglish.com/INSIDER. And if you believe in connection, not perfection, then subscribe to our show on your phone or on your computer. See you next time.